Alright guys, today we have more PlayStation news to go over and cover, starting with a pretty exciting partnership that was just announced between PlayStation and Discord. This kind of came out of nowhere. This seems to be the way Sony likes to drop a lot of their news these days. They just kind of drop it from the sky and here you go. And the timing of it is also kind of funny because just a couple of weeks ago we were hearing rumors that Microsoft was apparently in talks to try and acquire all of Discord for $10 billion, which didn't happen. And so now we're hearing a partnership is a thing now between PlayStation and Discord. So this was written up on the SIE blog by Jim Ryan, and it says, at PlayStation, we are constantly looking for new ways to enable players around the world to connect with one another, form new friendships and communities, and share fun experiences and lasting memories. It's in this spirit that we are excited to announce a new partnership with Discord, the communication service popularized by gamers and used by more than 140 million people every month around the world. Together, our teams are already hard at work connecting Discord with your social and gaming experience on PlayStation Network. Our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experiences closer together on console and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends, groups, and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together. To bring these experiences to life for our players, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made a minority investment as part of Discord's Series H round. So, yeah, a little bit of a write-up here, just explaining why PlayStation's doing this. I think it's kind of obvious why they're doing it. Makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people seem to be very excited about this. I think the only thing that some people are feeling a bit disappointed about, but it's not that big of a deal at all, is that they're saying it's going to happen early next year. So we do have to wait a little bit, but, it'll be here before we know it. And, yeah, as I said, the timing of this is pretty funny because it's like 1 week we're hearing that Microsoft is going to apparently acquire Discord for $10 billion. And then the next week, there's a pretty strong partnership announcement between Discord and PlayStation. And so it is worth noting here that Sony makes it clear that they made a minority investment. So that's definitely, something important that should kind of tell you how serious Sony is about trying to make sure that Discord is a, pretty important thing that's going to be implemented into PlayStation's ecosystem going forward. So let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Are you excited about this announcement? Let me know. We're moving on from that though and talking about Konami once again. Now, I did talk about this yesterday during the podcast, but I know that not everybody is able to catch the podcast. So we're going to talk about it here. Apparently, Konami, after saying that they're going to be part of E3, almost immediately pulls out of E3, and they let us know that they are in deep development on multiple projects, which is very interesting because all we've heard up until this point are nothing but rumors about Metal Gear, Silent Hill, so on and so forth. And so this seems to be the closest thing to some type of concrete confirmation that Konami's doing something. Now, what this could be, it's still anybody's guess, but let's read what Konami had to say. So they tweeted out, due to the timing, we will not be ready to present at E3 this year. We want to reassure our fans that we are in deep development on a number of key projects, so please stay tuned for some updates in the coming months. While we are not participating this year, we have great respect for the ESA and know that 2021 will be a great success. We will continue to support the ESA and wish the best to all participants at this year's show. So, yeah, I mean, the timing of this is fairly interesting because it's just really strange that Konami just a few weeks ago said, yeah, we're going to be part of E3. And then just like that, they're like, actually, no, we're not. There were rumors that apparently Konami was in talks with Microsoft to try to do something with maybe the Metal Gear Solid IP or something like that. These were just rumors that have been going around recently. I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but it's worth noting that Xbox is going to be part of E3. So it was interesting, a lot of Xbox fans were pointing to the fact that, Xbox and Konami are going to be part of E3. Maybe they're going to have something to announce. And here we are, shortly after hearing about these rumors, now Konami's pulling out seemingly abruptly. Now, what I want to highlight here is the fact they're saying it's due to timing. Like, that's why they're pulling out of E3. But they then go on to let us know that they are in deep development on a number of key projects. So they're acknowledging that they're not only working on a project, they're working on more than one project, and they're calling them key projects. So that should tell you that these are probably pretty big projects, right? Like, they probably are talking about Metal Gear and Castlevania and Silent Hill, stuff like that. And they tell us to stay tuned for some updates in the coming months. Now, to me, that's interesting because it's like you're pulling out of E3, you're not going to show whatever it is you're working on there, and you're not going to update us on these games there. Is there a chance that Konami decided maybe they're going to be part of Sony's own event? Because Sony's not part of E3. We know that they're doing their own show at some point. And I think a lot of us, you know, if Silent Hill is real, if Metal Gear is real in any way, shape, or form, I think a lot of us are expecting to see it at Sony's next event. So, you know, I don't know. The weirdest thing about this is that they're like, yeah, we're going to be at E3. And then they're like, wait, no, we're not. Like, did they not get the memo that Sony wasn't going to be at E3? Did they think Sony was going to be at E3? And then they're like, oh, wait, Sony's not going to be there. Never mind. It's kind of weird, but it is certainly significant because, again, Konami's working on stuff. A lot of people have been saying to me not to be excited about this because, you know, Konami isn't good anymore and they're a bad publisher and whatnot. But to me, it's obvious that, like, whatever they're doing, they're clearly partnered with somebody. You know, I've seen some people make jokes saying that, oh, they're talking about their new pachinko machines. I mean, with Konami, you never know. It always could be a possibility, but I just don't think that's likely here. So, yeah, let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. We're going to move right along here and talk about something fairly interesting that, to me, it's just funny. Not in, like, the sense that I'm making fun of Xbox or anything, but it's just really weird and bizarre and funny. So I'm going to read this headline from VGC. It says, Court Docs reveal Xbox's internal Last of Us 2 review, and it sets a new bar for what we hope to achieve. That's what Microsoft said, apparently, about The Last of Us Part 2. So it says, included with several documents Microsoft has requested to be sealed by the court is this internal review written by its GGPD portfolio team, which praises the Naughty Dog title as something Xbox should aspire to in terms of visuals and story. The review states that The Last of Us Part 2 sets a new bar for what we should hope to be able to achieve going into a new generation of consoles. It says The Last of Us Part 2 is an exceedingly rare video game where what it accomplishes in moving forward the art of narrative storytelling in video games as a medium ultimately outweighs whether or not everyone likes or even if everyone has fun playing it. Now, I find that really interesting. Like, honestly, that's a really insightful comment from Xbox because I think it's very much true. And again, like, the bizarreness of this, right? Like, this is literally people who work for Microsoft to review Sony's games. I mean, it makes sense. You got to pay attention to your competition. But what they say here, I think, is actually totally true. You know, I've been saying this for a long time about The Last of Us Part 2, whether you hate it, whether you love it. I mean, it does a lot of really intense things when it comes to, like, you know, what video games can achieve from technical, you know, aspects and the technical side of things. And it seems that, you know, Microsoft acknowledges that as well. Continues on here by saying, that said, we loved it, had a great time playing it, and find ourselves still thinking about its characters and stories even after finishing the playthrough. The internal appraisal reserved its strongest praise for The Last of Us Part 2's visuals and narrative. So here's what Microsoft had to say. The visual quality and attention to detail in The Last of Us Part 2 is absolutely best in class in basically every area, and the overall presentation is significantly ahead of anything that other teams have been producing on console and PC. We were frequently stunned by the quality of the game's visuals, something that sadly seldom happens these days. It's even more impressive considering that the game features two separate player characters with different groups of allies in different locations, along with flashback sequences taking place years before. The verdict goes on to highlight the game's narrative-driven walking simulator chapters. While these may not be what many gamers are expecting, they are exceptionally well done and really show what other games, especially pure narrative adventure games, should be aspiring to accomplish with their character dialogue, presentation, and voice acting. And so it just goes on here where, you know, they had a lot of really good things to say. The only negative side, and it's funny because it's Xbox saying it, the only negative thing they had to say was the gun combat in The Last of Us Part 2. Apparently, whoever was hired here at Xbox to review Sony's games, they did not like the gun combat in The Last of Us Part 2, which, you know, I mean, I can understand that. I think that is an area where, for some people, it's hit or miss. I mean, I personally loved it. I think that the gun combat fits perfectly with the game and, you know, the intense nature of it. It's not meant to be like a Twitch FPS, like, you know what I mean? It's very different. So I have no problem with it, but that's pretty much the only negative thing they had to say. And so I don't know, man. I was kind of stunned by this, right? Like, I wasn't expecting to be reading a review of The Last of Us Part 2 coming from Xbox. And this is a good thing, though. Like, you know, I've been saying for a long time that one of the things I want to see from Xbox is not them necessarily copy Sony and the type of games they make, but just kind of like, you know, take notes in terms of just the overall quality. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing here. I don't expect to ever see a game like The Last of Us Part 2 on Xbox. Maybe we could see that, but, you know, I think a game maybe like Hellblade 2, which is coming out eventually, that could maybe get close to the visual. It probably could surpass it, honestly, since it'll be on next-gen consoles, you know, with visual fidelity and whatnot and storytelling. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff here, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I'm going to be very interested to see what you guys have to say about all of this. So make sure you leave your thoughts down below. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.